Hi, this is Rachelle with Scrapcraftastic, and today I'm going to show you how to make a page mark without a die cutting machine or anything special. And you can also add a little pocket on it and add your little goodies, die cut, stickers, paper clips, just as like a little storage area. And you can slide this on over your covers of the notebook or either over several pages to kind of mark your page like this. It can be used several different ways. You can slide just one edge over like that. You can slide two edges over if you make it with two edges like this. It's however you choose to use it. And it's basically just a piece of cardstock. Oops, let's put these up. It's a piece of cardstock. I didn't even use double-sided for this one. And I just laminated and then cut slits on both edges. And this is for a B6. I also have another one in here that I made. You can make them as narrow or as wide as you want. The only thing is that you have to make sure you have the right height. I just used one of the die cuts that I have for my other page marks, cut off the bottom part and laminated at the top of this piece of cardstock. This is two pieces of cardstock that I glued together to make this. This one is not as sturdy at the top. As you can see, I overcut this one. But it still works. It still works the same. And you can just slide one side over. Like I said, you don't have to cut both sides. You can just cut one side, have it like this, or both sides like that. So I'm going to show you how to do this for, let me put this one back. I'm going to show you how to do this one for a pocket size, because I wanted to make some for my pocket size notebook. And so let's go ahead and get started with that. So I just have a scrap piece of paper that I'm going to use. I have my notebook here to kind of use as a guide. And I'm just going to, I want this to be basically the same width, a little narrower. So since this is a pocket size, which is 5.5 inches, I'm going to cut my paper 6.5 inches. So I leave myself an inch to play with. So whatever height your traveler's notebook is, I suggest adding an inch to the height. So let me turn on my laminator. So I'm just going to add an inch. So it's 5.5. I'm going to cut this at 6.5. Now the thing is, you don't want too much hanging out of the bottom or out of the top. So you can adjust this to what you need it to be. Okay, so you're going to have a little hanging out of the bottom though. So I'm going to trim this down to, let's see, 3 inches wide. Let's go with 3 inches for now. Okay. Basically, that is it. Since this is a pocket size, I think I'm going to do this one with one slit, because if I did two slits, it would be less sturdy and it would give me less room in the center to work with. Let me trim that off. So yeah, I think it's going to be best to do one slit for pocket size. It gives me more space for decorating or storage. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is round my corners. Then I'm going to take some laminate. I don't need a whole sheet and I don't like to waste laminate, so I'm just going to trim it down to what I need. So I'm just going to do like 4 inches wide. And if you don't have a laminator, I'm pretty sure you could use the clear packing tape that you can get from the Dollar Tree. You just have to be very careful if you don't want air bubbles and such. So I'm just going to place this in the laminate. And I'm going to make it as straight as I can so that when I get ready to trim it, I have pretty straight edges to use. And I'm just going to run this through the laminator. So now I'm just going to trim off the excess laminate. Just open this up. With this trimmer, what I do to line up to know automatically where to trim the laminate up at, because you can't really see it that well on here, is that I line up the edge of my paper here with this edge of white on the trimmer, and that gives me a good border around my laminate every time so that I don't cut into the seal. So see, and that's another reason why, to try to line everything up as straight as possible so that this will line up for you. So this is our shape. I'm going to go ahead and round the corners of the laminate as well. And I'm again using the 1/2 inch rounding. Oops. There we go. Okay. So let's line it up and see what we got. This is how I want it to go in, like this. Now, the thing is, if you make your slit too close to the edge at the bottom, it's going to rip and it's not going to have that slider effect, so you have to be careful. I would suggest maybe even also adding a washi tape at the top maybe, or bottom of it before you laminate. If you add that at the top or the bottom, that might make it a little more sturdy and less liable to tear. But what I suggest is, I'm going to turn it over onto the back side and get my Sharpie pen, take my ruler and measure 1/4 inch up from on the paper. And I think I'm going to leave like a 1/2 inch for the slider. So that's the good thing about the Tim Holtz ruler. I can measure the horizontal line and the vertical spacing at the same time. So I'm going to line my ruler up on the 1/2 inch line that goes down the middle. As you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. So this is my 1/2 inch line on the inside of the ruler. I'm lining that 1/2 inch up to the edge of my page mark. Then it doesn't really matter where. Then I'm going to measure 1/4 inch from the edge from the bottom edge of the page mark. So I'm just going to put a little dot right there. So that's 1/4 inch from the left edge and a 1/2 inch from this bottom side. Then I'm going to turn my ruler around and measure approximately 5 1/2 to 5 3 3/4 inches, somewhere in between there. So let's do 5 5/8. So I want it to be the slit to be a little longer than the 5 1/2 inches to make it easier to slide it on and off the paper. It gives you a little wiggle room. But again, you don't want your lines to be too close to the edge. So I got my 2 dots. Then I'm just going to take my knife. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife for this because my Dollar Tree blade needs to be broken, and I don't want to do that right now. I'm going to take my metal ruler. Turn this around so you can see a little better. Line it up with the dots that I made. Then I'm just going to cut into the laminate. Controlled, slow cuts, and once you reach the other side you will feel it. Just don't try to cut through it all at one time. See, I just heard a little snap of the other side. And there's my slit. Now you can just rub this off of your laminate. Then you can just, let's put it on this one. Slide this on. And there you have a page mark. Now this one, I probably need to cut a little bit more because it's a little snug, so I'm just going to just do it by hand and just go a little touch more. Give it a little more room. Let's zoom out. So this is what it looks like with the just one slit. It does hang out quite a bit at the bottom. If you don't like the way it hangs out at the bottom, you can cut a little closer to the edge. I just don't recommend cutting too close because with wear and tear it's going to eventually break it off. So I'm just going to trim a little bit more on the bottom because I don't want mine hanging out that much, and it's a little more since the pocket size is so small, it's a little trickier getting everything lined up just right, but it's also better to have a shorter slit than a longer slit because you can always make it longer, but once you let's like throw some pages in here too. Once you make it longer, you can't go back. So there you have it. And since I changed the slit, it doesn't hang out as much at the bottom. It looks like it has overhang, but the edges of the notebook account for that. And then it just, you can just flip through where you want to go. You can also, in another video, I show you how to make, and I'll link that below and up top. I have a video that shows you how to make these little clear pockets with laminate. This is a business card size pocket that I got from Office Depot, and I showed this before. They look like this, and I just put them in this bag, but maybe because this is so narrow, I can put a business card size pocket on there. So let's see. Yes, I'm gonna bring it down some. So that fits perfectly. Then you can put business card in here. You can put small stickers. This is my Mystics Little Gifts card. Fits down in there. This tag is probably too big. Yes, it is. You can put your planner clips on it, on your pocket, on the inside. You can also use the page mark for planner clips on the outside. It just depends on how big your clips are. Let's see, here's a smaller one. So you can put clips on here, store clips in here. So pretty much put anything in there you want. So that's it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.